Welcome to the Conscious Podcast. I'm Ellie Phillips, Marketing Executive at Conscious, and today I'm joined with my colleague, Maddie Platt, Head of Marketing at Conscious, for a special Halloween episode. At Conscious, we're often talking to law firms about the importance of seasonal marketing, and so today we wanted to put our own spin on it for this special edition podcast episode. I hope you're sitting comfortably for some spooky tales about all things legal marketing.
Welcome to this very spooky special of the Conscious Podcast, hence our lovely orange attire. Ellie's got some pumpkins on and I've got my sequin sparkly bat. So we're feeling very Halloween-y today, and we're going to be lifting the coffin lid on 6 marketing horror stories, the kind of nightmares no marketer wants to face, but many of us secretly have. From ghostly glitches to cursed campaigns, these are the tales that send shivers down any marketer's spine. But don't be too scared, because if you've made the same mistakes, you're far from alone. In fact, every haunting misstep comes with a lesson that can help protect you from future frights. Whilst these stories are true, we have enhanced and fabricated the spooky feeling using our trusty friend, ChatGPT. So grab your pumpkin spiced potion, light a candle to ward off the marketing ghouls, and join us as we share the tricks, the terrors, and the terrifyingly good tips hidden inside these chilling tales. Because in the end, every nightmare can be turned into a story worth telling, even if it makes your hair stand on end.
Okay, exactly. So our first horror story is from Laura Lack, who is the community manager at the Law Firm Marketing Club. You may have seen our most recent episode featuring Laura, and now she's offered us a spooky tale to tell. So her story is all about the creativity vampire. So without further ado, Laura's story goes. I heard about a law firm where every marketing campaign got mysteriously taken over by a partner who drained the life out of it, adding Comic Sans, changing call to actions to call us for a free consult, and insisting on fax numbers. The marketer began seeing red, literally, with the amount of red line. The happy ending to this ghost story, because it's one that I'm sure many marketers can kind of relate to, is after one too many urgent partner edits, the marketing manager changed tactics. Instead of fighting, they brought the partner into the process early to identify KPIs and success metrics. Slowly, the partner realized that Comic Sans and fax numbers were having negative effects on the law firm's social media engagement rates. Through consistent reporting and trusting the judgment of the marketing team, the creativity vampire was defeated by the sunlight of a successful marketing campaign. So, as I mentioned, I think everyone can probably relate to this story in one way or another. I think that the key takeaway from this is stakeholder management. So, ensuring that you bring all relevant people into the conversation early, not only to get their input, but also to showcase the thought behind any campaign and to evidence the value that they bring.
Next up, we've got the Away Day Bogeyman. This one's written by David Gilroy, Managing Director at Conscious. Here's how the story goes. I know a story about a marketing exec in a law firm who booked the wrong golf course for a golf day. Needless to say, the course was a bit of a ghost town that day. As someone who organises a lot of events and sends the team to a lot of events, this one really does fill me with dread. Thankfully, we have processes in place to ensure everything that's booked and organised is checked by another person, and then triple checked again by me. I don't want to jinx it, but any mistakes that we've made, and there have been some, they've been noticed early enough to rectify the situation, and I'll be crossing my fingers that this stays the case throughout our busy event season. And I'll be triple checking my bookings again this afternoon to make sure that I haven't made any mistake.
Yeah, good idea. So our next story is titled A PR Imposter, and this is by Tamar David, our PR executive at Conscious. So Tamar says that our PR team once heard of a story that would give any PR executive a fright. A law firm sent out their own press release, but accidentally linked to a landing page of their competitor, not their own. So the moral of this story is to check your links or else. It may sound obvious, but many marketing blunders can be resolved by a final double, triple, or even quadruple check. A few checks a day can keep all unwanted PR imposters away. So we've all had situations like this, but just to reiterate once again, it's so important to check links. Although sometimes it feels like the most tedious part of a campaign and you just want to get it over the line, this ghost story is testament that, it's worth doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it always helps for me to look the day after or a couple of days after, and then you pick up those errors that you didn't notice because you're so focused on it. Our next story is The Haunted Website by our head of development, Liam. A law firm's outdated website began acting possessed, pages vanishing, text twisting, and phantom bugs haunting every update. When even their IT department couldn't stop the chaos, Conscious stepped in to perform a digital exorcism, rebuilding the site from the ground up and banishing the ghosts of broken code for good. This spooky tale proves that legal marketing, the real horror is when clients can't find you. This one is definitely something we see more often than not, if I'm honest. We've actually got some fun marketing campaigns plans for the remainder of the year. So if you're a law firm with a website over 5 years old, you could be expecting to hear from us later this year. There are lots of ways law firms can minimize this risk, though, but the most important one is updating your website regularly so you don't get to the point where it's going to cost you a draining and expensive exorcism.
So, our next story is one that is actually written by myself, and it's called The Cancel Culture Crypt. And obviously, I'm Ellie, marketing executive at Conscious. So, this is kind of a more general take on brand marketing, but can most definitely be applied to law firms. So, we've all heard the stories about the cancel culture crypt, a space that threatens to lure ill-informed businesses to their deaths. So, how can law firms avoid this untimely fate? Make sure that you stay educated on all the matters that you're posting about. Being well informed and being a thought leader is a great way to boost your firm's credibility whilst also avoiding the ominous cancel culture crypt. So it goes without saying, but before posting anything online, you need to check your facts, check your sources, and to make sure that you're saying the right thing about the right thing.
Definitely. And this next one is one that did happen to me, but it has a happy ending, so don't be too upset or scared whilst I'm telling my story. This one's called The Case of the Cropless Curse. I was working late, determined to do everything myself, a lone marketer, warrior armed with caffeine and too much confidence. The task seemed simple enough. Send a design to the printers. What could possibly go wrong? I hit send, shut my laptop with a sense of victory, and that's when the horror began. Days later, the delivery arrived. I opened the box, expecting pristine, professional prints. Instead, I found a nightmare staring back at me. The edges were wrong sliced in odd places, text perilously close to the trim. It looked like some kind of marketing Frankenstein. I realised with an icy chill that I had forgotten the sacred ritual, the bleed and crop lines. Without them, the design had been butchered. My beautiful creation now looked like something dragged out of a haunted photocopier. But just as the despair reached its peak, salvation arrived. The local print company, kind-hearted souls immune to the cropless curse, stepped in. They patiently showed me how to banish such errors forever, teaching me the arcane wisdom of bleed and crop. They even reprinted the order for free, breaking the spell and restoring my sanity. The moral of this horror tale? When you try to do everything alone, the marketing demons will get you. Ask for help before the curse strikes again. To this day, I always double check for bleed and crop lines because I know what happens if you forget. And also, shout out to Canva who give that option to you when you want to export your design. I don't think it's possible for me to forget now after that horror story. And once you've looked into the eyes of the misaligned print job, you will never forget.
Amazing. And yeah, I think Canva is definitely the hero in a lot of marketers' horror stories nowadays.
Definitely.
So it wouldn't be the Conscious podcast without some quick fire questions. So Maddie, I'm going to direct some spooky questions your way in honor of obviously our Halloween episode. So the first one is, referring back to Liam's haunted website story, how do you know when a law firm's website needs an exorcism instead of a refresh?
I know that this is supposed to be a quick fire round, but I could talk about this for a whole podcast episode. I think there are several things that make it clear when you need a whole new website rather than just a refresh. But I'd say the most common that we see are when a website no longer reflects the brand or the people working in the firm. You're generating less and less inquiries, and there's not any other obvious reason as to why. And that technology has just advanced so much that it's difficult for you to navigate, edit, and update your website. I think they're clear signs that the exorcism is on the horizon.
Great. So the second question I have for you, and I'm actually really interested to know this one. What's your version of a marketing jump scare?
I mean, it has to be when I see another brand using orange. How dare they?
Yeah.
Orange is our colour. Sorry, EasyJet and B&Q and others. You might have been here first, but orange is Conscious's, so no orange in your campaigns, please.
That's so true. There's nothing more uncanny than being somewhere at an event and seeing someone else wear orange. It's kind of like that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, and our third question is, if you could cast one spell to fix all law firm marketing problems, what would it do?
Give everyone an at least £100,000 marketing budget and make it so the whole firm is invested and understands the value of marketing, not just the marketing team or the single person in the firm that wants to invest. I think, yeah, make marketing important to everyone.
Amazing. And I think that's a great note to end it on. So we hope that these stories have got you into the spooky season spirit, but we just wanted to remind you that law firm marketing doesn't have to keep you up at night. So here are some top tips to conclude on. Don't let your website rot. Modernize before the bugs and ghosts take over. Keep your content fresh. Regular updates keep both your website and its content looking fresh and keeps the ghosts at bay. And finally, don't DIY your exorcism. Some problems need professional intervention. And I had to add this bit at the end, despite how cringe it is. Who are you going to call? Call Conscious. Sorry, we had to do that. We had to.
Oh, I love it. I wish we could end every podcast like that.
Well, 'tis the season. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this Halloween special edition of the Conscious Podcast, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Conscious Podcast. For more information about how Conscious can help your law firm's marketing strategy, be sure to check out our website and our social media. See you next time.